Hey friends, welcome to the Dani Borow Show. And today I have a very, very special guest, Jonathan Streets. Yes, the multifaceted man, owner of First Touch Soccer Academy and Complete Kitchen and Bath. Welcome, Jonathan.
Thank you for having me.
So how are you, Jonathan?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing today?
Wonderful. I'm so excited that you're here today with us on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm very, very flattered.
Oh my goodness, I am.
I've never been on a podcast before, so this is going to be a fun experience.
It's new to me too, but it's been working out.
Yeah, I've seen some of it. It looks like you're having a lot of fun.
Wonderful. So tell me a little bit more about yourself. Are you from Florida? Or?
Yes, I was actually born and raised in Lakeland.
Okay.
And have lived here most of my life. I went away for college for a couple of years and then kind of got homesick. I think Lakeland kind of has a way of, my wife and our friends kind of call it the black hole, has a way of just like sucking you back into it.
I'm a victim. I love it here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
What did you go to college for?
I studied business marketing, essentially. I did my freshman year. I went away. I went to Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia, and that was quite a change for me because I had never seen snow or really been out of Florida for any period of time, and went away, and then just kind of got homesick. Came home, and I finished my associates in just general education at Valencia Community College.
Okay.
And then I transferred back to Lakeland, and I got my bachelor's degree from Florida Southern, which is here local.
Yes, wonderful. And you did all this stuff, and now you have these two businesses.
Yes.
And I'm really curious about First Touch Soccer Academy. You just opened, right?
That's right. Yeah, we
Just
opened
a few months ago?
Yes, we signed the lease on my birthday, actually.
Ooh.
So this past August.
That's a nice birthday gift.
Yeah, maybe. So it was a lot of work for a birthday gift. We signed the lease in August, at the end of August, and then we had to do a lot of construction. And so building out a commercial space and making it, we wanted to make the facility, and we got to see it together earlier this week.
Yes, but tell everybody where you're located at.
Yes, so we're located in the Outback Steakhouse Plaza in South Lakeland, right on Florida Avenue. There's the new Metro Diner. So I always tell people we're right between Outback and Metro Diner.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we did a build out for an indoor soccer facility. It took a couple of months, and then we just kind of jumped into the deep end and started offering training and skill sessions for young kids.
Why did you think there was a need for that in Lakeland?
I think for part of it is just because my wife and I started having kids, and so you go from being in your 20s to now you're in your 30s and you have small children, and you're just looking for things to do with them. And we tried all sorts of stuff. Of course, my family has a big history of playing soccer. I'm the youngest of 4 brothers, and we all played collegiately, and all have had careers even outside of that. And so that was kind of a natural starting point. And so doing the various kids things, I just saw these different programs, like from gymnastics to karate, all these different programs. And I just used to sit in there and think, man, this would be so cool if you could do the same concept, but help kids get better with the soccer ball, because there wasn't anything like that when I was a kid. So,
but is there a lot of kids playing soccer right now? Is it a popular sport?
Huge, and bigger now than it was when I was a kid. It was pretty big when I was young, but it's just like everything, like it's evolved. I think all sports have kind of evolved, and so you kind of have like a dichotomy of club travel soccer, which is what I played growing up, and that's more for your serious minded and competitive players, and that has really changed a lot. I think that's kind of one of the things that pushed my brother and I over the cliff to want to do it, was that club has gotten so serious. It's for a lot of these kids 4 nights a week. They're playing Saturdays and Sundays every weekend. They're playing year round. They don't get a break. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got recreational soccer, and they don't play for very long. They only play once a week for practice. Most of the time it's volunteer coaches, so they don't have the experience. And so we just felt like there was a void where there's a lot of kids in town that their families don't want to give up 4 nights a week. And they don't want to be gone all weekend, and it really can be hard on a family, in my opinion. And then there's also kids that love it very much, but they just aren't getting the teaching that they need.
They need more skills.
That's right. So we felt like there was a void there that we could fill.
Yeah.
And we just have such a great community of coaches that we've known. A lot of them are players we played with growing up. And there's just it really is just as easy as creating a facility and putting everyone together.
Right. Now, I'm from Brazil, and it's all we know. It's
all
we do is soccer. It's the national sport of Brazil. And in Brazil, like, the kids just play on the street. At least they did back in my day. Do you think that parents are becoming just too extra with all this training and like, is it too much?
Yeah, I think we'll see. I think people have this perception that their kid will be elite if they just put in enough effort.
Right.
And there's just so many more variables than that. It's such a small fraction of a percent of kids that will go on to college and beyond, especially beyond. So, and I think that's one of the things that they have mixed up is that a lot of the higher elite kids are not even allowed to play high school anymore. Their clubs will not. They'll even sign contracts that they won't play high school. And for most kids, the 98% of kids, that's the most fun they're ever going to have in the sport. I was going to say,
yes. Doesn't that remove the fun from the sport if it's just so?
It can. Some people, there are the elite kids that like their idea of fun is that. That level.
I see what you're saying.
But it's a small amount. And so for me, I take a lot of passion. A big part of the motivation to do it was to help bridge the gap for the kids that aren't going to go on, but they want to have that high school or middle school experience. And if they don't get any skills training, they won't even make those teams. So, my brother and I both played we both played Division I college soccer at Liberty together. He played 4 years there. But if you talk to either one of us, we will tell you the same thing, that like playing for our high school and winning state championships in high school, the time with your friends, like that's honestly like that's the best that it ever was. So, because it's still fun. At some point it becomes a job. And so some kids can really handle that. Most just are going to miss out on the best part, and they don't know it. So that's part of what we want to help kids is to achieve playing on their school teams, because that really is, to me, that was like, those memories are some of my. I'm 42, going to be 43. Those are some of my best memories, is playing for Lakeland Christian.
Awesome. So your boys play soccer?
One. I have one son. So I have three boys, 11, 9, and 6.
Okay.
And my 9-year-old plays soccer, and my other 2 play ice hockey.
Because the hockey's so much better.
Yeah, it's different.
Says a Brazilian.
Yeah, that's right.
I love hockey.
Hockey's a lot of fun to watch. And it's, for me, I think maybe the novelty of it is really cool. But, soccer has such a special place in my heart, because I've played it since I could walk. And but there's a lot of overlap, and it's a lot different too,
It's completely different. It really is.
I
played hockey for a little bit on a beer league. Yes. I mean, this size 2 thing, but yes, I broke a couple of things, and I'm like, it's not for me. At my age, I do not want to be breaking bones, right?
That's smart.
Yeah.
Where did you play?
LIA. I actually...
You played in the beer league in Lakeland?
I actually owned the team. Yes, I had the...
what year is this? Because they started that in 2019.
It was 3-4 years ago, I want to say. So
what was your team?
I had the Flying Pigs, the Lakeland Flying Pigs.
That's hilarious.
So I had, I had one, and then we opened up another team. But yes, I honestly... actually played in Brandon. Even though I had the 2 teams in Lakeland, I played with the ladies in Brandon, because I was just so intimidated by the guys. I'm like, they're going to murder me. And, but yes, I was always terrible at it. But I loved it. But honestly, my skill level was much more suitable to be Mrs. Claus on ice, which I've done, and I loved it.
Yeah.
So yes, but you like hockey too, right?
I do. So once my oldest son, and I don't know where it came from. That's what's so funny about it. We still, my wife and I still laugh about. I mean, like my wife's side of the family, the men all played baseball. My side of the family all played soccer. And then somewhere our 11-year-old, I think he got like a little knee hockey set for Christmas and watched a couple Lightning games, and he wanted to try it. So it was kind of like he's just been on like a rocket ship. And so once he started playing, I'm not the type to sit things out. So I jumped right into the deep end and started playing adult league. And ironically, the first beer league game I got invited as a guest player. I was just learning to skate and learning to play, but I got to play my first game as a sub was for the Flying Pigs.
You played for my team?
Well, it was their last time playing, but yes, I went. I didn't know where to be or where to play, but the guys, a friend of mine was on that team, and they needed some help. They were down some players.
Yes.
That happens, and they invited me to come out and play with the Flying Pigs.
I can't believe
I
you.
played a game. The orange jerseys. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
I gotta get you a jersey.
That's
I have
hilarious.
some at home.
That's
yes.
great. That's great.
That is
a lot
funny.
of those guys are still out there playing.
Yes.
So.
But once I was gone, they changed the name of the team, and what did they change it to? The Wolves, right?
Yeah,
they went from the big bad Wolves now.
That league as the time has gone on has grown, and so they start to divide it into like upper leagues and lower leagues. So I think some of those players moved to the upper league. Some of them were more novice, like myself. And so there's been all sorts of variations of teams. So but it is so fun. It's a really neat community.
Yes.
Really great people. I've met some really wonderful people. And it is always because I play in the novice D league, and it's just so fun because it's like you never know when somebody's going to fall for absolutely no reason, and to me that's hilarious. You have to be able to laugh at yourself.
Yes, unless you break your tailbone.
Unless you break something, that's not funny. But I fell last week just warming up for no reason. I just fell, and it's so funny with ice skating. It's so different than soccer. Like once you lose your balance and you have momentum, there's no stopping it. Like you're going to slide, and usually you're going to slide until you run into somebody or the wall.
Yes.
And I don't know why I find that so funny, but I turn around, next thing I know, my legs are in the air and I'm airborne, and you're just as helpless as you've ever been.
Right. I mean, the thing with hockey too is that there's quite a bit more accidents. And back when I had the team, I was really big on neck guards because I know that the guys are not too fond of wearing, and I know it's uncomfortable and irritating, but yes, but there's still quite a bit of injuries in soccer as well, right?
Sure. Yeah, I've seen some really, really bad injuries over my time. I've only had some. I broke my leg, and you see a lot of cuts and bruises, but I've seen some pretty bad injuries. Usually, once you get to that upper level, like college, everybody's just going so hard and so fast, and they don't back down from a single loose ball, and so you see a lot of like collisions and head injuries.
Yes. So what age groups do you cater to at first touch?
So we start as young as we have 4-year-olds.
Oh my goodness.
We call them the little kickers. If they're under 8, we have a little kickers program. And at that point, we're just trying to get them exposed to the game, let them have a lot of fun. And it's neat too. Teaching them already, even at 4 years old, we'll start to at least put into their brains that they need to use both feet. Like that's a big thing that we big proponent of what we do is teaching both feet, because soccer's meant to be played with both feet. And so there's only so much technical work you can do with the really little ones. So we try to make it fun, make them use both feet, and get them, it's like, get them in love with the game. And then our academy classes, as we call it, starts at 8 years old all the way up to 18. And so we basically we evaluate the players, put them into classes of similar age and skill. And that way, they're surrounded by kids that are in the same place. So you might have a 10 and a 12-year-old in the same class, but if they're advanced, for example, we want the advanced kids in one class where we're able to push them a little harder. And if you got kids that are really early on, you don't want an advanced kid's going to get held back. And likewise, the young kids, the novice players, have a hard time. It's an awkward sport when you're first starting. When you play football or baseball or basketball, you're running on your feet. You don't have to time. It's very unnatural to have to time your feet around a ball, and so you having to push through that is.
So basically, do you take them through stages, like levels? It's not like in karate, you go from belt to belt. Is that how you progress them, or is it more age-based? Or
it would be skill-based. So,
Skill-based.
every class, whether novice or advanced, they're all going to spend about the first 20 to 30 minutes of their class with lots and lots of touches, all parts of both feet kind of thing. And then we go through different curriculum, which would be, for several weeks we'll do, dribbling. And so we're working on dribbling with both feet. And then we might use that to teach them how to play 1 against 1 or 2 against 1. In a lot of scenarios where they're attacking or defending with the ball. Then we will rotate that into passing. And so passing and receiving the ball, we'll move into shooting and finishing and that kind of thing. So what we'll watch for is, and different kids handle it differently. So some kids will take it home with them, and we encourage all of them to take a ball at home and work in between the classes. And I always tell them, you get out what you put in.
Yes.
So if you put in an effort at home, when you come back the next week, you'll have progressed faster. If you only come once a week, you'll progress, but it'll be slow. So it really is watching the kids, and at some point as these kids progress, we may ask their parents, like, hey, your child's advanced beyond this group. We want to put them into another class where there's more advanced kids.
Are you considering doing like a summer camp? Because that is a huge deal.
Yes.
Like yesterday, I was at my Rotary meeting, and my vice president was like, I got to sign my kid up for the summer camp because it's going to book in 5 minutes. Like
Yes.
summer camps, when my son was at summer camp age, it was crazy. It was like, so are you thinking about doing that too?
Yeah, we'll run summer camps all summer
Nice.
long. We're actually about to release all those dates by the end of this week. So for us, the space is limited because we can only bring in maybe 12 to 15 kids per session. But the other nice thing is it's an air-conditioned facility. We won't get rained out. So there will be limited spaces, but we plan to run weekly camps through the whole summer.
Oh, that's a
For
very
different
good
age groups.
idea.
So,
Yes. You got to get your camp on the Lakeland, Mom. I text you.
Yes, I do. I do, 100%.
Yes. Awesome. So it's you and one of your brothers who run the business?
Yes,
Because you
and-
said you have 3 brothers.
I have 3 older brothers. My brother Jason, so I'm the youngest. The one that's just older than me is Jason. Everybody calls him Boozy. He is.
Why?
There's a million stories as to where the origin of that. It's the one that I've heard makes the most sense is that when he was a toddler, my dad thought he walked like he was drunk all the time, so he called him Boozy. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the rumor.
So it's you and Boozy.
Me and Boozy, and we have also a partner from our church. His name is Dan. So it's the 3 of us.
Okay.
Dan's got a lot of experience in the local community coaching and just a real passion for the game. So he seemed like a good fit.
Do you actually teach any of the classes, or is it more?
I do some. A lot of the evaluations I get involved in. I have limited capacity because I have the other company, Complete Kitchen and Bath, where I spend most of my time is that's my livelihood. The soccer side it's a business, but it's not what feeds my family.
It's a fun business.
Yes, it's a fun business. It's not what pays the bills at my house. So,
I see.
I work full time in construction, and then I have to fit this kind of in the evenings and some of the weekends and stuff. So
Yes. Well, tell me about your other business.
yeah, so I started with one of my other brothers, Kevin.
And it's called Complete Kitchen and Bath.
Complete Kitchen and Bath.
And where are you located at?
We are in South Lakeland, right across from Miller's Ale House. We have a huge showroom. And
so how convenient. You're like from one to the other. It's like literally like a 3-minute drive?
very intentional, yes.
Yes. Good.
I could technically walk to work probably.
You could. Yeah, you could.
Yep. So
Yes. So how long have you been in business with Complete Kitchen and Bath?
We started the retail side of it is really how I would answer that, 2013. And we opened up on Pipkin Road. There was a small little building. And I really just have been very blessed. It was just going to be me and my brother. Never thought in a million years I would have an employee. And we had I can remember when we first started, my brother Kevin and I had these plans we had a 2-year plan, I think it was, where We would start the business. We were scared to death because we were taking on the overhead of a building. And my brother had a great job, but he did get his contractor's license. So we started the company with a small showroom and a 2-year plan for him to quit his job. We opened the doors, and 90 days later, he quit.
Wow,
So
that happened fast.
It was very fast. I was shocked. It was just like a perfect storm. We were coming out of the '08 recession. Things were just starting to heat up. So, and honestly, like, it was just such a small thing at that time. It didn't take a lot to float it. And we were just very blessed.
Do you feel like in your industry, I mean, I'm a real estate agent, and I feel like there's a lot of distrust with contractors, like that people will start a job and not finish, or will do a super crappy job. Do you run into any of those issues?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah, and that's and to be fair, that's well deserved of our industry. Florida is tough. There, when you go in the Northeast, the various trades are a little bit more like just part of how they live. They're a little bit more. I don't know how to put it. I mean, I don't want to say respected, but up in the Northeast, there's like journeymen for carpenters, for example, and things like that. We don't have anything like that down here.
So you think it's a Florida problem? Because I used to live in Maryland, and I kind of felt like even the level of craftsmanship of construction is a little bit higher there than here.
Yeah, I think
that's
like
fair?
I think so. And it's it's just the world we live in. You're gonna have good and bad wherever you go, but down in Florida, that's just been my experience. Is there's a lot more teaching of the non-licensed trades, and by that I mean electricians, plumbers. You're going to get good licensed trades down here because there's a lot more hoops to jump through, and there's education that's required and tests to pass and things like that. When you get into things like painting or tile or trim, anybody could go start an LLC and be a carpenter,
right?
And then you end up with just a lot of riffraff. So it's in Florida. It's a common theme where people hire the wrong person. They go do a poor job. They don't understand that, like, it's just like anything else. I say all the time. It's like you get what you pay for.
Right. Do you get called a lot to fix other people's boo-boos?
Yes. I've ripped out a lot of brand new bathrooms, and that's heartbreaking to watch because I think people didn't know that was going to happen, and they don't understand that you can't uninstall tile or different materials. Like they're shot. You might be able to save some plumbing fixtures and cabinet or something, but once they've hired the wrong person and done the job poorly, and if it's causing like leaking or things like that, it's got to get torn out. And so they end up losing 90% of the money they spent.
Boy.
And so hiring the right guy second is the most expensive way to do it.
What is one of the weirdest things that people ever asked you to build for them?
I would say, because we're so branded kitchens and baths, we tend to really just see that mostly. But I've done some fun projects in the past. Probably the most odd thing I've ever built was a recording studio, actually. There's a recording studio here in Lakeland that some friends of mine started a long time ago, and we built that for them. And it was a huge learning curve, learning how to soundproof spaces, basically building rooms within rooms so there's no vibration transfer. It was a lot of fun, but it was a very difficult process mainly because you're working with, you have the skills to do carpentry, but you've never done that process. So a lot of learning curve, but it was really, really cool once it was done and to see them, like my friends, start recording bands and do that kind of stuff, that you could literally have somebody playing the drums from the distance of me to you and you can't hear it.
Wow.
It's wild how sound and vibration work.
But like as far as bathrooms and kitchens, nothing off the chain. Because I have a friend who is right now, I think it's Istanbul, and she posted a picture of a bathroom, and it's literally like a hole in the ground with a handle for you to get up and down.
Yeah.
Like, do you get a lot of bidets and weird things?
Yeah, there's a lot. It's an interesting time to be doing what we're doing because they're just coming up with all sorts of new products, and some of it's very neat. Some of it you're just like, we'll see if this is just a quick trend, if it's a flash in the pan or not.
Yeah. Tell me about some of the latest trends in design that you're seeing that people are going for right now with kitchens and bathrooms.
Yeah, it's interesting. So with 13 years in the retail space, the biggest thing that I've seen has been, in the 2000s, everything was very brown. Like chocolate browns, khaki browns, everything was very, very, very brown. And then, when we opened Complete Kitchen and Bath, there was a huge shift and everything went very cold. And so it became like stark whites, grays, and that
grays
was
lasted
it.
forever.
They did.
Yes, like when was that? 2018. It was at the height of the
Yes.
gray. Everything was gray.
Yes,
gray,
and
gray.
you could almost like see it coming because that was when Fixer Upper was really, really popular as a TV show.
Oh.
And, I was early in my career with it, so I used to watch that show. My wife and I loved watching that, and you could almost like predict it. You would watch a show, and then the next week someone would come in asking about the thing that they had done on their Fixer Upper episode. And then now it's kind of shifted to where a couple things, we're seeing the tones are starting to warm back up, but they're not brown. They're like, light browns, very, pops of color, but a lot of white on the walls. People want the spaces very, very light.
Yes, because I think that after the grays came the oatmeal.
Yes.
That was the color. I was like,
yeah.
And now it's more like Oxford whites.
Yes.
Like, it's so funny how interior design has almost like, it's like a fashion trend, just like clothing and everything else, right?
Cyclical, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep, that's right.
But I've been to your showroom and I was so mind blown at how much stuff you have in there. So you could do anything.
Yeah, we tend to stick to our lane. Like that's one thing, we really work hard at is we're a kitchen and bath company. So, if folks will come in and want to do an addition or something like that, and we're not a good fit for that. We do a lot of kitchens and baths. So for us, that's what we know. That's the products that we sell. That's the processes we've created. And we just want to master that. I don't think you'll ever truly master it because remodeling is challenging. Every project is going to have some sort of hiccup in it when you tear everything out. And homes are built in different time periods, and we've gained a lot of experience and knowledge from just tearing houses out and knowing how a 1950s house is built versus a 1970s house versus a 2001 house. You just kind of do it enough to where you really understand it. But that's kind of our lane. Like that's our brand, that's our reputation. And so that's kind of what we're sticking to.
One thing that I feel people are very frustrated when it comes to working with contractors is that they tend to give you a really nice, low estimate. And then at the end, it's like, whoa, it's like twice more. How do you guys deal with that? Like, what is your philosophy?
That's a great question. And the challenging thing for that, and you'll find that in home building too, custom home building and things like that. I use analogies a lot. It's kind of like buying a car. It's not like buying a car. If I were to buy a truck, like an F-150, I know that it's coming from the factory. And so if I buy it in Lakeland or Brandon or Bartow, I'm getting the same product. So I know that at the end of the day, I'm going home with the same Ford truck.
Right.
With remodeling, different people, different processes, different products, everything's custom.
Everything
is,
yeah.
You'll never, ever, if you have 3 estimates, everybody says that, I want to get 3 estimates. You're literally never going to have the same 3 things. So that will fluctuate. So one contractor might have the philosophy of, I want to come in, I want to be the cheap guy. Somebody might be, I want to be the high-end guy, and so I just throw in high numbers. For us, we want to be somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
I want people to be able to select healthy, quality materials with lots of selections and trying to have that value approach. And then you're going to have your homeowners that want to save some money and they can retreat. You're also going to have your homeowners that want a Toto toilet and they're $2,300, and they have electronics in the toilets and all this stuff. So like you can't really totally predict what their value is, what they want to do. So we have the ability to scale up or down, but I think the best place, the method for us is to start in the middle. So there's lots to choose from. We want to offer people a value, but coming out with the cheapest price is never our first agenda, although we want to be competitive.
Absolutely. I'm not a discount realtor either. So,
yeah, that's right.
Yes, you get what you pay for.
What's the weirdest house you've ever had to sell? turn the question back to you.
I've seen some zombies in my day. I've seen some funny things. I had one that was really smelled a lot like pot in it.
Yeah.
So it was a little interesting, that one. I mean, it's a popular thing now, but back in the day, people were very off put by it
Yeah, sure.
it was interesting. So we had to call the ozone guy to like clean the house, and it finally went. It's funny.
It works,
sometimes,
doesn't it?
Yeah. You know, they say to bake cookies and everything, the scent of a home really matters sometimes. So yeah.
Was that your first experience with the ozone?
Yes.
It's pretty incredible, isn't it?
Pretty cool. We use it again for a heavy smokers house as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and it really makes a difference. Yeah.
That was
and
my
it kills
one's
everything. It even kills all the cockroaches and everything.
Yeah.
Like it's super strong.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yes, it is.
I like it. They have the ozone little mini machines at the hockey at the changing rooms.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
to get the
'cause
odor out.
Nothing smells more wicked than hockey gear at the end of the game.
You're
right?
not wrong.
Yeah. So awesome. And but I wanted to talk to you about something else that we have in common, which is a very favorite topic of mine.
Okay.
Chickens.
Chickens.
Yeah. So you raise chickens too.
We don't have as many as you do.
Okay.
But
How
we
many do you have?
I think we have 8 right now.
I started
Currently,
with
we
8.
have 8.
I started 8 is a good number, but me being me, everything escalates very quickly in my life.
Sure.
Like I couldn't just play a little bit of hockey. I had to own the team.
You have a
right?
team, right,
So
sure.
so yeah. So you have 8.
I have 8 chickens, and it kind of started out. I don't even know why we got into it. I think we homeschool our 3 boys,
Okay.
and we felt like that was going to be a fun thing for them. So, and we're very kindred in that way. So I ended up going into the deep end, but not on the chicken side, on the coop. I like way overdid my chicken coop.
Oh my gosh.
My chicken
Tell
coop
me about your coop.
I way overdid it. Like, big mistake.
I want a coop with a chandelier in it.
Well, yeah,
Can you
so we
make
call
me
ours the
one?
bougie coop. Yeah.
Yes.
So, well, that's what my wife calls it. I call it Fort Clucks because I like it survived the hurricane, no problem.
Nice.
What was fun was teaching, though, my boys. I got them involved. I think that was part of what the motivating factor of all of it was to talk to them about, like, we framed it. So, and then we painted it and ran trim and like put a roof on. Like, it's a really bougie
you
coop.
had them help you build the coop.
That's right. And then we picked out the chickens from Lay's, which is right down the street. And then the boys basically helped raise the chickens. And then they just learned a lot. And so now they each have their chores with the chickens. So the baby, my baby Charlie, he's not a baby anymore. He's turning 7, but his job is to collect the eggs. He gets the
Okay.
fun part, but he collects the eggs and has to make sure there's hay in the bins where they lay. And then Dane and Cliff kind of have to manage the coop, like cleaning the coop, keeping it maintained.
Cleaning a coop is a big tough job.
It is,
A
and
lot
if they're
like
not happy, they
everybody-
don't lay.
Right.
And that's what I think people don't understand when they get into chickens is like happy chickens lay eggs.
Exactly.
Unhappy chickens do not lay
They
eggs,
do not.
and they're a lot
very
of work.
temperamental.
So, yeah.
Yes. No, but that's good because and it's so great that you do all these things with your kids because it's teaching them different skills.
Yes, and responsibilities,
Responsibility.
and you know they're learning a little bit about a lot of things, and I think that's good because you know you got to make them well rounded. But
Yes.
the chickens has been a lot of fun. I think we're 2.5 years into having chickens, and
Oh, you have
it's a
more
blast.
experience than I do. Yes,
It's a blast.
that's good. I
It's a
just have more
blast.
chickens.
I can't
than
believe
though.
you know all your chickens' names.
Oh, they all have names. And when I first started, they had 3 names. It was like Red, Bray, Kimber. Of course, Taylor Swift. It was Taylor Swift, Marie Denise, because I felt like Taylor Swift was one name in theory. But now I actually have them numbered. I put a little ring around their feet so I know exactly who, because it's becoming a little hard to keep track.
Sure.
But yeah, I know them. And but I'll say cleaning a coop, people get into things they don't realize how much work there is.
A lot of work.
And everybody's like, oh, I'm going to raise chickens because eggs are so expensive. No, mi amor, no.
Eggs are a lot cheaper at the store.
That first egg cost me, I don't know, $1,000 between
Sure.
the price of the coop and feeding the chicks and all that stuff. It's like, man.
right.
but it's so enjoyable.
Yes.
Yes, but the cleanup part I don't like. I outsource.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work,
Outsource it,
but
I pay.
it's so fun to watch my boys come running in the house with like, it's like it's like a treasure hunt for them. Oh, there's
It
there's
is.
6 eggs, and
Yes.
it's fun because they're all like, it was so nice of you to bring in eggs to the showroom the other day, and it's the same thing. They're just all different colors, different
Yes.
sizes, the
Yes.
different chickens, and that's kind of how we picked ours out was. They tell you like, okay, this kind of chicken will lay this color of egg, and we wanted a bunch of different colors. So it was
Right.
kinda fun.
No, I kind of didn't know that. So I just had brown eggs. And now Saturday, I drove 2.5 hours to Eustis to buy a chicken from somebody who laid a very specific color green that I had to have. So I'm telling you.
You are in the deep end.
Yes, yes, I am. I am there. But it's so fun to bring these little gifts to my friends and family and clients.
Yeah.
And right now,
It's your calling card.
I know.
That's awesome.
And like right now with the price of eggs, they feel like they're getting like a $7,000 gift. Give them a dozen
right.
eggs, right?
That's right.
It's pretty crazy.
And they are. Do you taste it? Like, do you ever eat them? Like, probably at this point, that's all the eggs you're eating are the ones you're gathering. But sometimes, if my chicks aren't laying, we'll have to get some from the store, and I absolutely can taste the difference.
Absolutely.
They're like
even the
fluffier.
color.
Yes.
Yes, even the
Yes.
color. And my chickens eat a lot of pumpkin and carrots, and I give them red pepper flakes to help them lay a little bit more. But I feel like that also makes the yolk a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so good.
That's fun.
So, what are your plans for the future for your businesses?
So, honestly, right now with First Touch Soccer Academy, we just hired a director. So my hope is that it gets to where it's kind of self-sustaining, and I can get more into the big picture side of that business. Really interacting with the local communities. So there's a lot of different teams and a lot of programs in Lakeland, and when you first open a business, it's like I got to get students. I've got to get this thing to where it's at least breaking even as a company.
Right.
We're vastly approaching that, and so to me, the fun part will become, okay, now how can we help the local recreational soccer community, especially because they need a lot of help. Most of the coaches, they have a hard time even getting enough coaches. Those coaches don't have any training. Now, some parents are just, that just is what it is, and that's totally cool. But for the parents that like their kids love it and they want to get better and they don't know what resources are available, we want to be an asset to the community for those particular, and there's a lot of them. So, the various programs that are available in Lakeland, just helping them to have outlets. So we're already offering like free coaches clinics. A lot of the different recreational programs we're talking to will actually let them bring their teams in for a free session, and we'll train their kids. And it's so fun because the recreational kids have a lot more to learn. So it's like a small tweak and a big result. So with just a little bit of time with a lot of these kids, they get better so fast. And so that's very rewarding.
It's going to be exciting for them.
It's so rewarding to watch a player walk on and in just 1 hour walk off, and they're kicking the ball a little further, or they're lifting the ball off the ground, or dribbling a little better. And when they're 4, 5, 10, 11, whatever ages they are, like there's just something so fun about being around kids like that they're learning a sport for the first time. And it's something that I'm so passionate about and had just such a great childhood in soccer. So being able to like pass that on to the next generation is really fun. Like,
and I think more than ever, just getting the kids off the video games.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes.
It is so much right now. And I feel like my son is 13. And this generation has been born with screens on their faces. I think it's one of the first generations, if not the first, that you go anywhere now and the babies in the strollers, they have their little tablets.
Yes.
Right? Do you find that challenging, like to engage kids with sports that parents have more challenged because of the competition, if you will, with the video games and the other electronic distractions?
I think a little bit, maybe from the sense of obviously they're not on devices when they're in our facility,
Right.
but you can tell the ones that that are on it all the time, they have a harder time maintaining their attention.
Oh, really?
At least that's what I perceive.
You can tell the difference.
A little bit, yeah.
Yes, because I feel like just drawing motivation from kids right now, just to get to a point where they want to improve their skills.
And that's one of the added benefits, I think, for what we're doing. It's not just about soccer and skills. There's a lot of interaction with another authority, if you will, like a coach.
Right.
If you grew up playing sports at all, you have your parents that are your parents, but then, you can, I think everybody that played some sort of sport can look back at that coach that they had that really had an impact on their life. So hopefully we're able, we want to help insulate the parents from some of that, like helping them pay attention, helping them be obedient. I think that, it's a hard subject in the sense you don't have any control over it except for with your own kids. But helping to administer some level of, discipline for them to pay attention and to get along with others and to get through a whole hour. But, in my opinion, that's definitely a contributing factor is kids being on their electronics so much can be, it can be a hindrance.
It is.
To them paying attention specifically.
My son is one of them. They want to be YouTubers.
Yeah.
Like
Influencers.
Influencers, YouTubers and everything. And sometimes I find myself challenged to make him get out of the house and go ride your bike, go do something,
Right.
go shoot basketball with your friends. So I imagine other parents are challenged as well. And it's nice to have this resource in the community
Sure.
that is safe, positive, and that they're going to be learning and improving and interacting with other children.
Yes. Yeah. And other authority figures learning, and then we actually get a lot of kids that come in and aren't on a team even. They're just trying out for the first time. And so we're also able to kind of get to know them and their families a little bit and even make a recommendation. Because there's a lot, the different programs kind of have different niches. So you're able to kind of point them into a direction to get them on a team. And that's so good for kids, even if they're just recreational. Having kids in an environment where there's lots of other kids and teammates and getting them to play respectfully with them and listen to other coaches and things like that is really good for them. It makes them more well-rounded.
Yes. Well, I'm excited to see where you're going to go with this.
Well, thank you.
I think that you're going to find yourself opening other locations.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yes. Well,
Thank you.
thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's been so great to have you.
Yep,
and I actually am going to be bringing you an intern.
Please, let's
Yes.
go. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Your nephew, is that
Yes,
right?
my
Okay.
nephew's
Yeah, I would
coming.
love to meet him.
Yes.
We go knock the ball around a little
He's
bit.
a professional player in Brazil.
Yeah, let's
so,
get him up there. We can kick the ball around a little bit. That'd be fun.
I'm excited.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Jonathan.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Bye.